which is not signed, which was attached by error, but we do have the letter, the signed letter that was sent to the ministry. This speaks to the solid waste management issues. And the letter is available for presentation to Secretariat.
Please go ahead and present it.
Then we also have Appendix 2 and Appendix 16, which is a presentation as evidence of the status reports regarding the roads that were worked on, as well as the street lights that were being done. The status reports were not signed, Chair, but we have the reports that were actually signed. Unfortunately, when the binding was being done, they used the system-generated reports to make the attachments. Then we also have under Appendix 10 and 11.
Are we all there on Appendix 2, honorable members? You can just make your presentation on Appendix 2. I want the honorable members to follow you.
I come again?
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. I was saying Appendices 2 and 16.
2 and 16.
Are basically attachments giving a reflection of the status report on roads, that is for Appendix 2, and the one for street lights on Appendix 16. So these reports, unfortunately, were not signed at the time of binding, but we have the reports that are signed, which we are ready to present.
Okay, noted.
Then further, I was saying Appendix 10 and 11 are actually on one page. These relate to staff matters.
Noted. However, you are reminded to tag the reports nicely next time, like this.
Thank you, Chair.
You may continue.
Much appreciated, Chair. Chair, the first item is on failure to collect regularization fees, and the cause of the query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to report that prior to the land audit that was conducted in 2020 by Chingola Municipal Council, the areas earmarked for regularization were unplanned, and the site plans had not yet been produced for onward numbering of the properties by Ministry of Lands, hence rendering the delay in collecting revenue from the said areas. Action taken. Chair, the site plan for one of the areas known as Chikola Loop has since been produced and properties numbered by the Ministry of Lands, and demand notices to the settlers have since been issued. Further, Chair, a total of 2,328,142 kwacha has so far been collected under regularization. This is as at 22nd February 2024. Remedial measure, the Council shall endeavor to promptly facilitate the planning process and enhance revenue collection efficiency. We have attached as Appendix 1 rather, samples of the demand notices that were issued to the settlers, proof of payments from the clients, and the balance outstanding, as well as the site plan that was formulated. The second one, Chair, is maintenance of township roads. This is failure to maintain township roads. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to report that at the time of audit, Council did not have equipment for roadworks, and it depended on hiring, which proved to be too expensive. The cited amount in the audit included the procurement of earth-moving equipment for road maintenance. Action taken. The council has procured equipment that includes a motor grader, front-end loader, 2 tipper trucks, and a TLB for routine road maintenance. The cited roads have since been worked on. Remedial measure, Chair, the council shall endeavor to maintain roads as planned. We have attached as Appendix 2 a list of the procured earth-moving equipment from locally generated revenue, as well as pictures of the maintained roads. The third one, Chair, is illegal establishment of markets. Cause of the query, we acknowledge as management the auditor's observation, and we wish to report that the illegal markets came about due to distance covered to and from existing markets. Mostly these are in the far-reaching areas. Action taken, the process of legalizing the cited markets has commenced, and so far a council resolution has been secured and a letter for approval of the establishment and operation of the 3 markets has since been sent to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Remedial measure, the council shall endeavor to promptly identify and facilitate the establishment of markets and bus stations in designated areas. We have attached as Appendix 3 a council resolution relating to the same, letter to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development for authority to create the 3 markets in Ikalilo, Luano, and Soweto. The next query, Chair, is lack of an information technology steering committee. That's in the IT section. Cause of the query, management has noted the auditor's observation and wishes to report that Chingola Municipal Council, like any other local authority, does not have a framework to draw its mandate to establish the IT steering committee. Action taken, management has since written to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development for further guidance on the establishment of the IT steering committee. In the interim, a committee has been constituted to look at IT matters at the council. Remedial measure, council shall endeavor to operate in line with the regulations. We have attached as Appendix 4 a letter to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development seeking guidance. The next one, Chair, is lack of hardware maintenance. Cause of the query, management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to indicate that the said hardware had outlived its usefulness as recommended by the IT unit. Action taken, management has since taken stock of all obsolete computer hardware for the purpose of disposing them off. Council has in the last 2 years procured new computers, printers, and its accessories to enhance smooth operations of the machines. Remedial measure, management will prioritize routine maintenance of computer hardware to ensure smooth operations. We have attached as Appendix 5 the IT report, listing of obsolete computers which have been recommended for disposal, and the list of the newly acquired computers. The next query, Chair, is on physical and environmental security, which is access to the computer server. Cause of the query, management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to report that due to limited office space, the server room was also being used for storage of procurement documents, hence allowing procurement officers to access the room. Action taken, security has been intensified on access to the server room through introduction of the logbook, and the server room is under lock and key. Further, the label indicating restricted entry has since been installed by the door to the server room. Remedial measure, Chair, management will endeavor to ensure that the server room is secured and entry restricted. We have attached as Appendix 6 copy of the logbook accessing the server room and the label. Under cross-cutting audit findings, the cause is that management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to report that the issues raised as the basis for qualifying the 2021 financial statements were only brought to our attention at the time the opinion was communicated. Action taken, Management has since amended the 2021 financial statements where the overdraft of 1.5 million is disclosed under Note 10 as borrowings and as required. Further, the reimbursements into capital account were done accordingly. The reimbursement schedule and bank statements are attached for your reference, Chair. Remedial measure, management shall endeavor to adhere to the provisions of the local authority accounting policies, LAPs, and other financial regulations in the preparation of financial statements. We have attached as Appendix 7 the amended 2021 financial statements, reimbursement schedule, and copies of bank statements. The next query is on budget, income, and expenditure. The cause of the query, Chair, we are saying collections on plot premiums and charges above the budgeted figure was as a result of a new application for land by a mining company that had just expanded its operations, and the unspent amounts at that time were committed to the projects and activities that were only completed and paid for in 2023. Action taken. Council has since spent the monies following the implementation of the earmarked projects, which included the procurement of the council motor grader, tipper truck, and utility vehicles. Remedial measure. Management shall endeavor to take into consideration all potential revenue sources during budgeting. We've attached as Appendix 8 a list of procured equipment and the same motor vehicles. The next query is failure to collect revenue. Management response. Whilst acknowledging the query, we are indicating, Chair, that these revenues pertain to historical debts that accrued over a period of time when KCM, being the major source of revenue for the council, was not performing very well.
So before you go on, can you move an amendment there? I notice you want to acknowledge the query, but that is not what you have written.
With your indulgence, Chair,
please.
I heed to that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Permission to proceed?
Yes.
Action taken, Chair. Council entered into an agreement for a payment plan with KCM to liquidate the outstanding amount, while task forces for collecting other revenues were constituted. Remedial measure. Council shall endeavor to intensify the collection of revenue through automated systems and constitution of the revenue collection task force. We have attached as Appendix 9 an MOU with KCM, the appointed task force, and amounts collected. The next query is on budget, income, and expenditure. Cause of the query: employment of staff was based on the generic structure which was in existence then. Action taken. Council has been submitting staff returns to the Local Government Service Commission to inform them on staffing levels. Remedial measure. Management will endeavor to report to the Local Government Service Commission on staffing levels, and at the same time ensure that staffing under its mandate is maintained in line with the revised approved establishment. We have attached as Appendix 10 a cover letter for submission of staff returns. The next query was on failure to confirm staff. Management response. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to report that the delay in confirming the identified officers was due to the transitional period after elections, awaiting the appointment of the new Local Government Service Commission. Action taken. Resubmission for recommendation for confirmation of the said staff were done, and the officers have since been confirmed, whilst the one falling under the Human Resource Management Committee was equally confirmed. Remedial measure. Management will promptly present to the Commission matters requiring its attention, and all staff matters falling under the jurisdiction of the Human Resource Management Committee for Chingola will be attended to as need arises. We have attached as Appendix 11 confirmation letters for the two officers in question. The next query failure to secure properties with title deeds. Cause of the query, management acknowledges auditor's observation and wishes to report that this was an oversight by the institution. Action taken, Council has commenced the process of obtaining title deeds for all Council properties, and so far the leases for all the properties have been issued by Ministry of Lands and awaits issuance of title deeds. Remedial measure, Council shall endeavour to ensure that both old and new Council properties are titled. We have attached as Appendix 12, invitation to treat and leases from Ministry of Lands. The next query is failure to maintain Council properties. Cause of the query, management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to report that failure to maintain Council properties was due to inadequate funds. Action taken, provisions in the 2024 budget have been made to rehabilitate some properties in a phased manner. Remedial measure, Council shall endeavour to plan and budget for the rehabilitation of these properties. The next query is failure to fence the dump site. Cause of the query, management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to indicate that the dump site, which has been cited, belongs to Copper Belt Solid Waste Management Company, commonly known as CopWaste, as was surrendered by Zambia Consolidated Copper Mines Investment Holdings, ZCCM IH, and is mandated to manage the facility and seem not to have the capacity. The action taken is that several letters were written to CopWaste on their need to improve adherence to the requirements of the Solid Waste Regulation and Management Act and Environmental Management Act. Following their response communicating their incapacity, the Council escalated the matter to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Remedial measure, Council has commenced the process of identifying a new area to be designated as a dump site, after which the queried dump site will be closed. We have attached as Appendix 13 the correspondence to the Ministry of Local Government. This is one of the documents I'd indicated, Chair, that we had attached, which had not been signed. The next query is a failure to develop an integrated development plan. The cause of the query, management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to report that the process of formulating the IDP by the local authority was slow, resulting in the document not being ready at the time of the audit. Action taken, the integrated development plan for the period 2024 to 2033 has since been approved by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Remedial measure, the Council will endeavour to promptly review and update subsequent plans. We've attached as Appendix 14 copy of the approved integrated development plan. The next query, Chair, is failure to dispose of unserviceable vehicles. Management response. Cause of the query, management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to report that the process of disposing of the unserviceable vehicles by the local authority was slow, resulting in the vehicles not being disposed of at the time of the audit. Action taken, a Council resolution was secured and valuation of properties to be disposed of done, with the report submitted to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development for authorization. Upon receiving the authority form from Ministry of Local Government, the local authority also wrote to the Secretary to the Treasury for final authorization. Remedial measure, Council shall endeavour to promptly dispose of obsolete assets in line with the Public Finance Management Act number 1 of 2018. We have attached, Chair, as Appendix 15, the Council resolution, authority by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, and letter to Secretary to Treasury for final approval. The next query is failure to install and maintain street lights. Cause of the query, management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to report that failure to install and maintain street lights was due to inadequate funds. Action taken, the local authority commenced the installation and maintenance of street lights in 2023, and the process of acquiring a cherry picker to enhance maintenance of street lights was done. Remedial measure, council shall endeavor to plan for the installation and maintenance of street lights as planned. We have attached as Appendix 16 copy of signed contracts, progress reports of works done. The next query is failure to settle outstanding statutory obligations. Our response as management chair, we're saying under the cause, management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to report that the outstanding statutory obligations relate to historical credit that accrued over a period of time when the local authority's resources were constrained. Action taken, council has entered into payment plans for arrears with various statutory institutions whilst remitting current statutory contributions. And the remedial measure, management shall endeavor to remit statutory contributions promptly. We have attached as Appendix 17 the agreed payment plans and the current debt status. Chair, I submit.
Thank you so much. Although my copy doesn't have an agreed payment plan. Honorable members, points of clarifications. Honorable Semumba, Honorable Mwene.
Chair, thank you very much for this opportunity. This I'll take you to page 2. Failure to maintain township roads. Page 2. Town clerk, you have submitted that council did not have equipment for road works and it depended on hiring. In addition, you have submitted that the cited budget provision of 9,406,287 included the procurement of earth moving equipments for road maintenance. We have gone further that the council has since procured equipment that includes motor grader, front end loader, 2 tipper trucks and TLB for routine road maintenance. Chair, the first question that I would want to find out is I wanted to know the cost of the equipment on its own and how much was the budget for road maintenance, and also when did the council procure the equipment, so that maybe that will help us find out what we are looking for. I submit, Chair.
Thank you so much. Honorable Mwene.
Thank you so much, Chair. Before I come to my substantive question, maybe just to augment on my colleague's question, I would like to find out from you, CS, the source of your funding for the procurement of this equipment. Is it from CDF, Equalization Fund, or other sources, as the council may be? Chair, can I go to my question now?
We can deal with this one, and
okay,
then you will be given a chance to go to the next. Engineer,
okay.
Honorable Mwanza.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Just a contribution on the same on the roads. On Appendix 2, you have indicated the number of roads that you have worked on. The grading of Fipuya Kakalo Road in Kamuchanga Ward, 12.4 kilometers, and you took 9 days to complete the road, and the road is completed. The status anyway is very clear. All these roads, the 16 roads, the 15 roads involved the grading, whilst the 16th road is involving graveling. The total number of kilometers for grading is supposed to be 32.8 kilometers, but you have indicated 32 here on your table. And graveling of Ngwe Road is 0.7 kilometers. My question is, in addition to, I just want you to confirm, to have an inventory, to confirm the inventory, because the description of the query, the numbers of kilometers that you have reported to have completed does not tally with the table that you have provided. So, in short, how many kilometers have been done in Chingola? Because these figures that you have shown here on the table in Appendix 2 and the descriptive statement is, they are not tallying. That is question number one. Question number two is, you have confirmed through Appendix 2 that
Are we able to tackle that one and the other two, and then you have an opportunity to give them more questions?
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes, witness. Maybe before you come in, allow me to just ask the substantive chair of the committee to introduce himself, and Honorable Nyambose, who have just joined us.
Thank you very much, Chair. Witness, good morning. My name is Mulunda Darius, Member of Parliament for Siavonga constituency, and of course a member of this committee. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity. Witness, good morning. Mishek Mtetwa Nyambose, representing the special people of Chasefu constituency in Eastern Province, and a member of this committee. Thank you.
Thank you so much, witness. You may go ahead and respond.
Thank you, Chair. May I be allowed to call upon the Director of Finance to just shed more light on the source of funding for procurement of the equipment? And I think there was also a question of how much was each equipment worth.
Director of Finance.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, with your indulgence, I will ask you to perhaps turn to Appendix 8. That is where, Chair, first of all, we will find the list of the equipment that were supposed to be bought. But of interest, Chair, there's a list that is actually indicated there, including the dates when this equipment was procured. I'll start, Chair, with the first one. We had the tipper truck, the 4-ton, which was procured on the 4th of January 2023 at a cost of 1.155, that is 1,155,000 kwacha. There's also, on the same date, we had the front-end loader, which costed 1,118,000 kwacha. Chair, we also had, I'd say, 6 Toyota Hiluxes that also costed 669,120 kwacha, 75 ngwe each. That is, we also had a Toyota Prado, which costed 1,173,683. And Chair, also on the 6th of July 2023, we procured a motor grader, which costed 2,413,798 kwacha. And also on the 29th of December 2023, we had another tipper truck, which costed 1,477,000 kwacha. And finally, Chair, on the same list, on the 29th December 2023, we had a backhoe loader, which costed 1,500,000. The source of this funding, Chair, was all from the locally generated revenue. Most of it came from land, I would say land issues, where we offloaded some parcels of land And this is how we applied the budget, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The other questions? Let us just finish, and then you do the follow-up. Yes?
The Chair, thank you. Also, with your indulgence, I'll call upon the Director Engineering Services to shed more light on the roads worked on vis-a-vis the report that has been given in terms of the kilometers.
Director Engineering.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the correct kilometers is 32.8 as correctly pictured by the Honorable. Thank you.
We can have a round of follow-up questions. Honorable Mwene, Doc, Honorable Simum.
Thank you so much, Chair. TC, you have all this money to buy all this equipment, but you are still failing to maintain council infrastructure. Why? Because there's a query here on failure to maintain council infrastructure. Yet you have all these monies. You opt to buy all those equipment, but you fail to maintain the old ones. Why? And what was your motive of you leaving already built structures and worked on? What's the motive behind that? What's the motive of not maintaining the old government structures that are already in existence? I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Dr. Manza.
Thank you, Chair. The number of kilometers is 32.8, but are you confirming that these projects are completed as per your presentation on the table? Because when I look at your report in Appendix 2, your conclusions is saying the project is progressing well and is on course as regards time, cost, and quality. However, there is need to ensure that a compactor is planned for procuring in future. Okay, so from the conclusions, the project is still progressing. But from your status report, all these roads are completed. So what do you want your committee to take? Is it that the projects are completed and all they are in progress? And what is the cost of implementing these projects? As you stated here, to say the projects are on course with regards to time, cost, and quality. So that cost, how much did it cost you to do these roads? Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Simumba.
Chair, mine on the same failure to maintain township roads. They have submitted that the council didn't have equipments for road works and they depended on hiring. Mine, I wanted to find out when they were budgeting in their budget provision. Did you budget that you are going to be hiring for you to maintain, or you depended on what you are going to buy? Because why I was in this chair, there was a provision, the budget provision, that was set aside for them to start maintaining these roads, and the money was there. So the issue of giving us a reason as to say they were hiring, it means they provided, there was a provision for hiring the equipment. So why should it be a reason of failure when you provided in your budget that you are going to be hiring the equipment for you to maintain the roads? I submit, Chair.
Thank you so much. Witness? Yes, Town Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. I'll comment on two, and I'll leave my colleagues to take the other one. The failure to maintain council infrastructure, and yet we bought equipment. Why did we go for equipment, and yet our infrastructure was not up to date. Chair, the issue here was an aspect of priorities. At the time that we were discussing planning, we looked at what it is that we needed to do first in order to have certain services provided. Suffice to say that as we go further, we'll find that we have planned to actually work on the infrastructure in a phased manner. We have a lot of infrastructure that is dilapidated currently, and we've put them in our plan to try and see how we can bring them back to what they were before. And the aspect of did we budget for hiring of equipment for the roads? Chair, we budgeted for working on the roads. And because we had old equipment, which every time we tried to put on the road, before we could realize, after spending a lot of money, they would already be off the road. So because of the demand that was coming from the public, we opted to actually get some equipment that we could use to work on the same said roads. But eventually we found that we were spending more money as opposed to having our own. That's how council passed a resolution indicating that we needed to have our own equipment, and indeed it has worked well. As the Director of Finance will actually help us to get the costings for the works that have been done so far. So with your indulgence, I'll call upon Director of Finance to complete this, and further Director Engineering to talk about the cost of the road projects. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Director of Finance.
Thank you, Chair. Like the town clerk has said, we looked at how much we were spending if we had to go the route of hiring. In our case, of course, there was a small provision because we knew at the end of the day we would have to still have a bit of some time before we can even manage to procure this. So we had a bit of some urgent roads that required us to do something about. And when we got the costings, I think it was very clear that that was actually an unsustainable sort of route. So that's how we presented the item to council, that look, the best way to do is we need to procure so that we can only be looking at issues of maybe fuel and the other servicing aspects. So right now, I think our concentration, much of it is pure on fuel and the servicing aspect. So the hiring aspect is no longer something that we actually factor in our budget. I think as to whether there was a component of hiring, yes, there was, but I think as I've indicated, it was not so big to go around all the roads. And that's more on why we just did the part of the roads that were marked to be worked on.
Honorable Simumba's question is that you had a budget provision under the year in discussion. I note that you bought equipment the next year. So the question is asking is that you had a budget. Why didn't you undertake these works?
Thank you, Chair. I think as you have noted, we had a certain amount that at the close of the year was still remaining, which, as we have said, was earmarked or maybe for planned procurement of this equipment. So what we looked at, Chair, was to hire just a grader to do a stretch of 1 kilometer. It was too expensive and it would quickly load this money. So we weighed the two options. Yes, we had the roads to be done, but also the fact that it was almost so certain that it was just that money available. So we could spend the money, do the roads, but they would still require to be done the following year. So I think council passed a resolution that perhaps we acquire equipment so that we'll be able to, perhaps for the years to come, manage our roads at a minimal cost. And when you look at it, Chair, from the OBB concept, when you look at this money, you notice that it is much to do with the roads provision. But when you go deep into the costings, you notice that part of it was to do with procuring this equipment so that we can actually work on the graders. Work on the roads. So I think that is, Chair, what we are submitting.
Okay, before I take the next follow-ups, can we have Director Engineering to answer to Honorable Dr. Manza's question?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, yes, the said kilometers were executed, but if you look at the report, Chair, we categorically stated this is a routine maintenance program, which is an ongoing program. So this, we called it a phase per se. So we stated to say the roads are progressing, the works are progressing within cost and quality and on time that was given for that particular phase. Otherwise, this is routine maintenance which is meant to be done regularly. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Semumba, Honorable Mwene.
Chair, whether hiring of equipments or not, the council budgeted for 23 township roads covering 31.5 kilometers to be maintained. So the method that they are supposed to use is not a problem, but these roads were budgeted for to be worked on. So the submission here, Chair, that the council is making to this committee, that is because it was expensive. I don't think the committee chair can take that, because they knew how expensive it was and they budgeted for it. So I would want to get the real reason as to why they failed, even after budgeting. It's them who knew that we don't have equipment, and I'm sure that was covered through the budget provision. So why should we have a council that even after budgeting for it, despite the council having a budget provision for road maintenance in the period under review, but they failed to maintain? There should be a valid reason, Chair, not whereby we were hiring. That was known. They knew that they don't have equipment. I submit.
Thank you. Honorable Mwene.
Thank you so much. Chair, I like the thesis language, phased manner of operation and sorting out Chingora issues. Go to page 10, it is, you will see that is the language where it is emanating from. That you are sorting out the failure to maintain council properties in a phased manner under your action plan. You are saying provisions in the 2024 budget have been made to rehabilitate some properties in a phased manner. That is the language you are using here, which is very good. Now, TC, I would like to find out where you have written your phased manner of sorting out these problems. Where is it written, that phased way? We want to see clearly stating, no, in this month we are going to rehabilitate this property, in this month we are going to work on that property, in that month we are going to do this. Because I've also noted that this on page 11, you actually clearly coming out that you don't even have an IDP. Do you have an IDP for 2022 to 2020 from 2024 to 2033? You have it? It is the one being approved, eh? It has already been approved. Okay, so we would like to see the phased manner, the written down phased manner in which you are sorting out these problems. I submit, sir.
Thank you. Doc, you want to add or you have a new question altogether? Okay, so let's deal with those two. Yes, Town Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. The first question is, we did budget for maintenance of roads, whether by hiring or not hiring. Chair, I still restate that, yes, we did budget, but the hiring aspect proved to be not sustainable. And that's what caused us to get back to the replanning of having our own equipment. We did have old equipment, but the equipment was failing us. That's how we resorted to the hiring and eventually to procuring equipment that we are now utilizing. I don't have any other response, Chair, other than what I've given. The second one is the issue of page 10. On page 10, the phased manner. Chair, we have a plan of the projects that we intend to undertake in 2024 as approved under the 2024 budget. And some of these council infrastructure are part of the infrastructure that we are going to work on in the 2024 budget. So we may not do all the infrastructure for the council. We've got these old bars, taverns, and all those. But we have some that have been selected. The abattoir is one of them, and a few of community halls here and there. Chair, I submit.
So the concern from Honorable Mwene is that your committee is evidence-based. When you are dealing with a query and you want to say that you deal with it in this manner, you must give the full information to satisfy the committee that you are actually doing something. To simply say that you have made provision, we will ask you how much, when do you undertake? It's the same thing. So it still remains open. What he's asking for is information to satisfy this committee that indeed you are going to undertake these activities of maintenance. Honorable Simumba, are you satisfied? Yes, Honorable Mwene.
Chair, maybe she has the evidence to the way they have programmed or the way they have budgeted it in 2024. Because the program of work for 2024, people already prepared, others in December,
Do you
others
have
in January.
this
Do they
program
have
of
the
work?
evidence to that?
Town Clerk?
Chair, we don't have what is attached here, but we can provide the projects that have been provided for in the 2024 budget through Secretariat. With your indulgence, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We make progress. Any other point of clarifications? Honorable Dr. Mwanza, Honorable Simumba, Honorable Mwene.
I just want to get clarification on page 3, the so-called illegal markets. There are 3 markets, Karilo, Luano, and Soweto markets that are established in Chingola without the authority of the local council. And you have stated that the process of establishing this market is on course. My question is, why did you allow the markets to be established and you have to wait until they finish the structures and it is operational? That is when now you go into action to start negotiating as to how to legalize the operation of these markets. Thank you.
Honorable Simumba.
On the same chair, I wanted to find out if there had been any plans to really open up the very markets in those areas, or is it because of illegal activities that has been taking place that has forced them to legalize the area? The chair, I submit.
Thank you, Honorable Mwene.
Thank you so much, Chair. I'm also interested, TC on page 12, on the failure to maintain street lights. Chair, is the Chingola Town Council or Municipal Council also confirming to your committee that at this particular time when the council failed to maintain 7 street lights, they are giving a reason to say because they had inadequate funds? But surprisingly, Chair, this council was able to buy bulldozers and earth-moving equipment. Are you telling your committee that maintaining 7 street lights is more expensive than buying earth-moving equipment? I submit, Chair.
Thank you so much. We may take those three, 2 on illegal markets and 1 on street lights. Yes, Town Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. The delay in establishing markets in these areas, Chair, I just wanted to give a brief background, indicating that these are areas that are in the peri-urban areas. And at that particular time, most of them would bring their produce to the common market, the big market that is in town. So with time, community members decided to be coming together and doing trade at certain locations as indicated. It is at that particular point that it was realized that there was need to establish those markets. But I'll also ask Director Planning to give a bit of more information on the same regarding the market. Director Planning.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, just as the town clerk has elaborated earlier, the said areas they are in the peri-urban of the district, and due to the distances that were covering coming to the central place, that is the Chuempala markets and all those, the people started what I can say, organizing themselves to establish a market. And it was that at that point that the sister department, that the Department of Housing, requested the Department of Planning also to do the planning of to do the site plan, so that that area is also degazetted and duly registered as a property of Chingola Municipal Council. Submit, Chair.
Yes, Town Clerk.
Chair, I will ask Director Engineering. If he's not able to, Director Finance will assist, because this is more to do with the maintenance of street lights.
Chair, with your indulgence, maybe you allow my colleague to just respond on this.
Yes, Director Finance.
Thank you, Chair. Like the town clerk said earlier on, I think we had certain, I would say, projects that we had planned to do. And the issue of maintaining these 7 street lights, and when we did inquire from engineering, I think they needed also to establish exactly what could have made them malfunction. So I think in our case, we looked at it that probably maybe that process would be done in due course, other than tapping into the monies that was set aside to procure this equipment. However, Chair, these street lights have actually been worked on as we are talking, as we are speaking, Chair, because there was also a budget line that we had actually, we made a budget provision in the 2023. I think for now, Chair, that is our submission.
Yes, Honorable Mwene.
Thank you so much, Chair. That's interesting. Chair, on this query, we have been assigned to go to Appendix 16, where there is a contract, Chair, for supply and installation of 117 solar street lights. Okay. Now, I want to find out, this contract, Chair, was signed on 29th of November 2023. When were these 7 worked on? 1, 2, are these 7 among the 117 streetlights being talked about? I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Mwanza.
Right, yes. Yes, just like Honorable Mwene has put across, this is a bit confusing because the query was on the only 7 street lights. And now you are showing us a contract of 117. These 117, we don't even know the location where you're putting these street lights, and the budget according to this contract, is coming to 1.8 million kwacha. What is the source of this, the funding for these street lights? And have you procured the cherry picker? Thank you.
Town clerk, are you getting the consensus? Yes?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we've gotten the concerns. I was actually trying to verify whether the 7 streetlights are part of the 117 that we are actually working on right now. So I'll ask Direct Engineering just to assist me on that one. And as to the source of funding, all these are coming from the locally generated resources. We signed the contract rather late because of the aspect of availability of funds. So this is why you find that the signing was around November as opposed to earlier in the year.
Yes. Director Engineering, now I see you want to come in.
Yes, Chair, thank you very much. Yes, Chair, the 7 streets that were mentioned, we have attended to the lights or the solar lights that had gone off. We've attended to them. The query was on maintenance as well as failure to install new street lights. So the contract attached, Chair, is evidence of the efforts that Chingola Municipal Council has put in to install street lights in streets that had no street lights in the first place. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Honorable Mwene.
Thank you so much. Director Finance as well as Director Works. You are stating, you are using the same language that this was done. Where is the evidence that these 7 streetlights were done? Because what we can see here is the 117, and this is the contract, implying actually that was done in November, implying that actually these works are not yet even done. And why should you allude us to a contract over the 117 when the streetlights in question are about the 7? Why should you confuse the two? Because the question here, the query here is not about the 117. You are telling us what you are doing. But what we are asking about is these 7, which you are telling us to say they were already done. Where is the evidence that these 7 streetlights were done? I submit, sir.
And let us go to page 12 and check what the query is, so that as you answer, you speak to the query. Appendix 31, failure to install and maintain street lights. So the query is more to do of the number of uninstalled and unmaintained street lights. Have we maintained the installed street lights? And where is the evidence? I think this is where the members are concerned. Yes, Town Clerk.
With your indulgence, Chair, maybe we may be allowed to bring the evidence through Secretariat, the pictorial evidence of the 7 streetlights.
Have they been worked on?
Yes, Chair.
Okay. Yes, Honorable Mwene.
Chair, I have a concern on that. A council knows that they have got a query on these 7 streetlights. They come here without the evidence.
The answer.
And then they want to tell your committee that now they will bring, since you have asked further questions. What is the probability that this evidence will not be one that is not factual? Because when they are coming for such queries, it's imperative that they come equipped. Not a situation where now you ask them further questions on the same. That's when they say, okay, oh, you're asking about this, okay, we'll go and bring it now. Chair, that I think personally, your committee rather cannot be managing in such a direction.
Chair, we seek your pardon. We should have brought the pictorial evidence of the 7 streetlights. We will request that you hold us by our word, and we shall submit.
Yes, you are.
Just on the same. It is. Why then did you decide to confuse your committee by giving us evidence of a contract for 117 instead of the 7? I submit, Chair.
Yes, Town Clerk.
So, Chair, we looked at it holistically because what it was indicated was failure to install as well as maintain street lights. So it was our considered view that as we made these responses, we could also indicate other efforts that were being put in place in order to work on the street lights. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Smumba.
Chair, I'll take you to page 8, failure to collect 87,380,931. The town clerk chair has submitted that the uncollected revenues pertain to historical dates that occurred over a period of time. Further, she has submitted that the council entered into an agreement for the payment plan with KCM to liquidate the outstanding amount. Chair, I wanted just to find out if the council, after entering into that agreement, has collected anything from KCM. How much is it, and when are they going to finalize with this huge debt, Chair, which is 87,380,000, so that these monies, Chair, can help the people of Chingola to develop. I submit.
Town Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. With your indulgence, I'd like to call upon Director Finance.
Director Finance.
Thank you, Chair. Again, Chair, we wish to apologize that we have not attached the current status, but by word of mouth, Chair, indeed we entered with KCM, we entered, in an agreement with KCM, who are actually the largest, I would say, organization that is owing council. I think out of this 87, about 57.2 million is actually owed by KCM. So what we did is that we agreed with them that on a monthly basis, they would actually be giving us at least 1 million, owing to the status in which they were, because they were deemed to be a liquidated company, and I think there was very little that we could do to push them around. So we agreed to that arrangement, and I think I can confirm that so far, I think they have just paid about 3.7 million based on that agreement. We are only hoping that, Chair, they will actually pay almost the whole amount within the shortest possible time once they stabilize and begin to operate normally. And other measures, Chair, that we took was we introduced, or we actually constituted some task forces that would as well make follow-ups on these other organizations, and as well as individuals that owe the council in terms of property rates. And that, to a great extent, Chair, is working. And again, we wish to apologize that we have not indicated or brought rather evidence showing how much so far has been paid against this outstanding amount. And with your indulgence, Chair, we wish to seek that we submit to Secretariat as well.
You're making the job of the chair very difficult.
That is just
There's a query on failure to collect revenue. How do you answer this query without telling us to say the status is this? Director Finance, you're a finance man and you do reports to committees.
Sure, Chair. Apologies for that, Chair. Otherwise, we did work. We have the figures, but I want to believe at the time we were compiling. I just don't know, Chair, how we missed to actually put it as well in the bound copy.
As we wind up, Honorable Simumba, Honorable Mwene.
Yes, Chair. On the same, Chair, on bullet number 1.3 on the argument, you entered quite okay into that agreement and the payment plan. And it is said that for June, July and August, they will be paying 1 million. And thereafter, it will be adjusted upwards. Chair, I think you have seen that agreement. So I wanted to find out from the TC or Director of Finance if the council has considered to adjust upwards, since there is a clause there and we are in March. Chair, I submit, and if there is any evidence that they have also adjusted upwards, I submit.
Honorable Mwene.
Thank you so much. TC, were you ready for your committee? Finding a situation where you find pleasure in bringing pictures of trucks and caterpillars, that we come and see that this is what we have procured, yet you leave imperative, very, very important financial records. Were you ready? Because, anyway, let me not go further. Chair, I submit.
Yes, Town Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. We were ready for the committee. We were ready to come and present before the committee. KCM and Chingola Municipal Council entered into an agreement, and indeed they have been paying. But not to go so much into details, Chair, there are certain challenges that we were facing. The more reason that they adjusted correspondence on what they are supposed to be paying is not yet with us here. We are yet to further agree with the new management that has come into being, and after our discussions, Chair, we should be able to give an updated report on our agreement with them. Currently, they are basing it on the same old agreement. Thank you, Chair.
Chingola Municipal Council, thank you for making an appearance before your committee. However, Town Clerk, next time as you appear before this committee, ensure that you answer the audit queries adequately. We are aware of what is happening with KCM, and we may give you a benefit of doubt. But in other areas, ensure that you carry along all the information. Supervise your subordinates so that they give you these reports. You are a seasoned local government officer, and I'm sure you know what is expected to come to this committee. We expect a better report next time, so that honorable members don't ask a lot of questions just to understand. Your report must speak to issues. While you are telling us next year, show us what you are going to do next year. Having said that, I wish to withdraw the immunity which was conferred upon you at the beginning of the meeting. Go well to your working station. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair.
Parliament is open to members of the general public who may wish to undertake familiarization tours of Parliament buildings, either in groups or as individuals, or to attend sittings of the House or parliamentary committees. All those wishing to visit Parliament can either write to the Clerk of the National Assembly of Zambia or simply come to Parliament buildings. Upon arrival at Parliament buildings, visitors are required to identify